Welcome to the Data360 Diaries. We're starting a new chapter, diving in with the Ingestion API. Welcome to the Data360 Diaries, formerly known as the Data Cloud Diaries. With the new name, we're diving right on in, and we're going to be taking a fresh look at Data Cloud, Data360, from one end to the other, really seeing the new features and capabilities. Today, we're starting with the Ingestion API. It's our ability to define an API and have the ability to push data into Data Cloud. So we're going to set that up, and I'm going to show you how it works. So first, we're in Data Cloud Setup, and this is the Ingestion API. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit New, and we're going to call it the Airport API. And hit Save. And now we have defined an API, and we're going to upload a schema. Now here's a schema I designed using ChatGPT. It's a simple object for an airport with scalars. We have the ICAO, the IATA, the name, short name, country code, time zone, latitude, and longitude. So this is a very simple, basic API. And what I'm going to do is come into here, and I'm going to load this up by going upload the files. So I've uploaded the YAML file that I showed you. And from here, you can see we've defined the ICAO. We can see we have these elements here. Now we don't have a date field, which means we're not going to be able to use this as engagement data, but we're not needing to. This will become other data. We're going to hit Save. And this is going to have the airport object with the airport API. And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go and set up the data stream. So I go over to the data stream, and I'm going to hit New. And we have a wide variety of data streams that we could set up. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be choosing the Ingestion API. So this, we had to have set up the API first. So we select the Ingestion API, we hit Next. You'll see that it allows us to choose it. And we're going to choose the airport object, which is the object that we created. And then we're going to hit Next. Now this is important. This is where we get to designate the classification of the data, the category. We're going to choose Other. We're going to choose the primary key. And I know in the data that the ICAO is the primary key. That's the airport code that's unchanging. We don't have a modified field, so this isn't going to let us know what fields are date modified. So after that, it really means that this would be a full replacement on load. And we don't need any formula fields. This is where you can enrich your data stream by adding formula fields. So we're just going to take these fields as they are and hit Next. And now we're going to choose the data space, and we're going to hit Deploy. And now it's creating the data stream from our Ingestion API for the airport object. So now it's complete, and let's take a look at this. So you'll see that it gave it an object API name, which is the airport API, airport, and it gave it a name. It also gave us a problem records name here. So this is the PR, which this means that if there are any problem records and they don't get ingested through the API, it's not that they'll get lost. They'll be written to this PR. You can see that we have our fields, but we also have the data source object, a couple of additional fields. But what we're going to do right now is this gives us the object ready to go with the DSO and actually the DLO. So if I can come to the DLO, I can go right here. And this allows me to see the DLO ready to go. Now I haven't yet mapped it, but what I am going to be doing is pushing the data in to the DLO. Now here is a JSON file I created, also using ChatGPT. You'll see that what I want you to understand, it has the data header right here. Now, just to show you the documentation, there's some good documentation on this. And this will show you the requirements about the particular files, showing you the parameters for the schema. It shows you creating the API ingestion stream, and then you're going to be able to connect in. Now I'm going to be using Postman. What I want to show you is first you're going to get your authentication header bearer token, and I get that. You can be using that in a number of OAuth methods. You could most likely you're going to be using like the client credentials flow, using a connected app. But once you get your primary access token to your core org, then you're going to need to exchange it. You go to your instance, services, A360 token, and you're going to pass in your current token, and you are going to exchange it for a Data Cloud, Data360 token. And then once I have this token, it'll also give me the endpoint. Now I'm sending this payload. So this payload is that same payload I showed you, which has the data and it has the sample data. It's hitting the DC tenant URL. So it's the tenant of my Data Cloud API v1 ingest. And I want to show you it's taking the name of the API here, and it's also taking the name of the object here. So I'm sending in API v1 ingest sources, airport API, airport, and I'm passing in that simple payload. Notice that it's under a data array, and then it acknowledges that it's been accepted. So I've got a 202 accepted for my payload, custom tailored towards my API that I created. Now I'm going to Data Explorer. I have the default namespace. I pick a data lake object. I see my airport API, and I see this data created. So you can see that my data has been created with the data source. It has the data source object, and it has my airport data loaded. So you can see this is a very simple process. Create the ingestion API, have your OpenAPI spec, then create your data stream. Then it's just a matter of the push of the data. I went to Postman, used my authenticated app, but remember, you're authenticating first on your core org, then you're exchanging the token for your Data Cloud. Once you have your Data Cloud token with your Data Cloud endpoint, then you're able to hit the API and push that data in, and it shows up very quickly in Salesforce. So from this point, we're going to wrap this one up, but we're going to be working in future Data Cloud Diary, Data360 Diaries, and walk you through the different mechanisms of Data360. Thank you for joining another chapter of the Data360 Diaries, actually the first chapter of a new series. The data journey continues, and see you soon. Make sure you subscribe to SteveTechArc and come visit www.stevetecharc.com. Thank you very much.